Welcome to our YouTube channel. You know what? Every single time when I take videos, like when I shoot videos, I tell myself, okay, fine, Corey, you're going to be serious. You're going to be a finance girly. But here I am, beginning of the video, almost every video, I'll be fooling around. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because like I just want to really make finances fun and not like another news session or oh my goodness, what are you gonna say right now? Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, as you can see from the video today, I am going to be focusing on you. So it's all about you, right? I've received so many DMs, right? When I was posting my videos and stuff like that, basically people asking me questions. And I was like, you know what? Let me just create a platform or a space for people to actually ask me questions and I get to answer them on YouTube. That way, then they are able to go back to them. And for instance, I would find that there's sort of like a repetition of questions as well when I get my DMs because obviously you don't know what the other person asked, right? So then now I open this platform so people can ask me questions and then maybe what you've been asking yourself, you will find that you're not the only one and you'll be able also then to get some clarification on that particular question. So I really do hope that you get clarification on these answers. And if you still have some more questions, comment section down below, or you can DM me and you can find me on my social media platforms. And it is at the Money Space 101 across Instagram, TikTok, as well as Facebook. I asked these questions on Instagram where I was asking people basically then to ask me some questions that they might have on investing. And I was actually quite shocked. I was like, I guys, there's no repetitive questions at all. Like, I assumed that there would be repetitive questions, right? Because, but there wasn't. So it's pretty a lot. It's pretty a lot. But I did promise that I'm going to answer each and every single question. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So if you don't find the answer to your question in this video, then you would definitely find it in the next video because I am thinking of splitting this into two. That way then this video is well fit together in terms of like the time period it has. Let us get to the questions. Okay, firstly, before that, I don't even welcome you. Oh my goodness. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. Welcome if you're new, and I hope that you do stay, right? I'm Angelina Senoge, the founder of the Money Space 101, and this side, we are building generational wealth together. I say together because it's a team sport. It's not just me saying this things so you can do them, but I am also saying these things to myself as well. Let's get to the top together. Let's not leave another one behind, right? So that's the whole point of this platform, and I really do hope that you get to achieve financial goals through the content that we do release. And if you want us to talk about certain things maybe on this channel and you just wonder, okay fine, can you please touch on this topic or that topic, then please do let us know on our social platform through our DMs or send us an email at themoneyspace101@gmail.com. So I had a bit of flu, so yeah, my voice might be like a bit off there and there, so I do apologize for this beforehand. But yeah, job, we must still carry on, right? Yes, we cannot stop for no flu at all. Am I the only one that when I was back in school, right? The only time you're not going to go to school is if like now you're going to hospital. Now they are pumping stuff on your chest and bring you back to life. But if you have things like flu, that day of the month, if you're a lady, whatever, you go into school. My parents are not taking anything, so I think that's just like the work ethic I have, and hence I'm here, and I have to do this because it's good job, guys. We need to keep going. Okay, so the first question was, where do we check dividend yields of certain companies? And this question was by Apollo. There's different platforms to check your dividend yields, but I'm gonna start with the first one. Firstly, for instance, let's say maybe you do like invest with a broker. So a broker is basically how then you get to invest into certain companies. So for instance, you'll find that sometimes on the broker, you'll be able then to see this thing that's called financial indicators or the financial statements of the companies. Then this is where then you'll be able then to see the dividend yields of these particular companies. For instance, I use Brockstock, which is very beginner friendly. And the reason why I say it's beginner friendly is because you really get everything on one app. So for instance, you get your news, you get your financial indicators, as I said right now, so where you'll be able then to see the market cap of the company, the profits of the company, the EPS of the company, earnings per share of the company, the PE ratio of the company. You get to see the dividend yields of the company, etc. Right? So that is really why I do prefer it, especially if you are a beginner, and even if you're not a beginner like myself, and you just want to make your investment journey like a bit easier and more digestible, then definitely then considering using a platform such as Rockstar could be something that is to your benefit. And if this is the case for you, then you can find the details to this in the description box of this video if you would like to start investing with Rockstar. And remember, you can invest with as many brokers as you want. So it doesn't mean that if you're already on one broker, you're not going to be able to get to the other one. It's your money, your choices. I'm generally with like numerous brokers, and I love them for specific things as well. So that's just generally like my preference in terms of like Rockstock, like its interface. It just makes it easier for me as an investor to just make my decision fast, invest, and be busy with other things. And the second way, which everyone can use, everyone has access to, you don't pay for it at all, it's you going to www.yahoofinance.co.za. www.yahoofinance.co.za. So on this platform, it basically has all companies. So you'll find companies from the general like the global exchange. So regardless of whether you're looking into JSE companies, you're looking into US companies, you can see European companies, you can see Australian companies, you'll find all companies in this on this platform. So you just search them for the company, and then it'll show you all information. You will see the graph interface as well, that what you see on your app that you invest on, and you also then see the financial indicators right below there. You see your dividend yields and stuff like that. So that's something you can do if, for instance, you are currently investing with a broker that does not show you financial indicators. So that is also an option. And the second question is thoughts on the Cetrix S&P 500 ETF. My thoughts on it is that if you are a beginner investor, right, or generally a person who wants to diversify your portfolio, investment portfolio, generally investing into such things like ETFs, it is something that is recommended by analysts as well, not something that I'm saying, but analysts generally, it's just something that's recommended, right? Where, for instance, you wouldn't want to just put your eggs into one basket, right? So when you invest to things like the S&P 500, then you know that your money is not relying on one company, but it is relying on the performance of 500 companies. And for the fact that it's not just 500 companies, but it's top 500 companies, meaning that these are companies that are performing relatively well, and they are all put into one basket, right? So instead of you just owning a piece of a pie of one thing, of one company, you're owning a piece of a pie of across many other companies. So currently, obviously, with everything that's happening right now with like Donald Trump, the US, and you know what's happening, guys. I mean, we all see the news, even if you don't watch news, but the moment you scroll, you'll find something up to do with politics these days. That I guess that's makes it a bit nice. The fact that you can sort of like find a way of digesting politics in a way that is not as daunting as maybe it was before. So generally right now the US markets, the companies are not generally doing like at their highest peak, right? But as I've said previously, and many other people maybe that you've watched that do investment videos as well have said that when the market is not doing well, it's relatively like a good time for people to invest, because this means that the market gives an opportunity to investors to start investing. Like, and then by the time that the market gets better, then you will start seeing profits in that particular investment. So that's really my thoughts on a Cetrix S&P 500. That if you're a person that's looking to diversify, then definitely looking into this is something that you might find to be a nice to have. When you look at its historical returns, as I'm going to show you right here, like the past year, past 3 years, past 5 years, that already tells you that this ETF performs relatively well. So such things, they really do give you confidence as an investor that, okay, fine, this ETF or this investment instrument could be something that could be valuable to my investment portfolio. And the third question is from Zamovi. Would you advise long-term or short-term investments for a student? Firstly, I'm going to say I started investing as a student, right? I started investing as a student when I was in my second year, right? And when you start investing as a student, like in terms of like you doing long-term or short-term investments, it has to go with your goals. Because, for instance, you're a student, this year in your second year or in your first year, what are you trying to achieve? Because if you're going to invest for the short term, what are you going to do with that money? You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm going with this. So maybe let's say, for instance, okay, I want to start investing when I was a student so that I can get to buy my car cash one day. Then you're looking at sort of like long-term investments, because long-term investments, they start from 3 years and above. Anything less than like 3 years or maybe like 2 years, 1 year, it is considered to be short term, right? And if you are looking to invest short term, what is it that you actually want to achieve in that time, right? So generally investments, they are better if you invest like for the long term. That way then you get to maximize on the potential return that you could possibly get from those investment instruments that you invested in. So it's not even about being a student. Generally, for any person, long-term investments are always better for investments, right? Because that way you really get to maximize on the potential returns. Like as I showed you before, right now with the S&P 500 ETF and how it has performed over the past year, 3 years and 5 years, you can see that the longer that you hold on to the investment instrument, the higher the potential returns. So why would you want to take out your investments at the first year, for instance? Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas if you would have waited just 2 more years for this thing, it would have doubled and even more than that, or tripled, right? Yeah, that's my take on that. And the fourth question, again, from Summit Fee. When am I having a summit? Listen, this is what I actually want to have. I want to have a summit actually. And I actually did talk about this from on my stories on Instagram, where I was mentioning after like I had my first investing master class, and I just envisioned this thing like, my goodness, I would love for this to be face to face, and hopefully, God willing, and yeah, things just work in the direction that I really want them to work in. I would really love to have a summit. By the end of this year, like this year shouldn't end without us having at least one summit, even if it's just like 30 people there, but just having to see something that is online and see it come into life and seeing people actually vibe here, that would really make me so fulfilled, or really just fulfill the mission and vision of the Money Space 101. So when, I don't know, but I am really hoping and praying that it is by spring this year. Fingers crossed. And hands together, praying for the God, please, you hear your children, they want me to have a summit, please, Father. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, will you guys really attend the summit? Because I think that's again another concern that I have, like, okay, if I'm gonna plan this thing for sure, because it really comes with a lot of costs, because if you're gonna have a summit and it's in person, there's food, there's all these other things that you take into consideration, the venue and stuff like that. So I'm just like, I would want to create something and people actually attend, and like, would you guys actually come? Like, please let me know in the comment section. The fifth question from Graham is, what's your thoughts on investing in cryptocurrencies? Guys, I think I haven't healed from crypto here. Honestly, I don't think I've healed. I've mentioned this in one of my videos before, where I was mentioning like the mistakes that I've made on investing before. Please do check it out and avoid these mistakes that I made so that you have a much better investment experience. So what happened is that I invested into Sasol shares, and after investing into Sasol shares, I then sold the shares right when they made like really good returns, like 2 years afterwards. So I invested them in 2020, and I think I made like over 10K just on the shares. And by the way, I was a student, so that money to me was a lot, given that I didn't have a lot of money to invest at the time. So then I checked out, and the mistake that I made was that I went with the hype of cryptocurrencies, because I remember that time on Twitter it was a thing. Hey, there's this coin, this coin, and my mistake is that I've not do proper research, right? So then I bought this coin. No, please don't judge me. 2 months down the line, it disappeared, that coin, which means my money also went down with it, right? So my thoughts of investing on cryptocurrency is that please be informed, right? Do not go with the hype. Do not become a herd investor. The herd investor is someone that basically you do things because someone else is doing it. Okay, because they said I should invest to this, I'm gonna do it without actually doing your own personal research as well. Like, yes, fine, you can take some insights from what I say, from what another person says, but then after hearing something, then go back in your time and be like, okay, fine, it is a good buy. Okay, cool. This is how this is performing. Okay, this is aligned with my goals, right? And that way, when you make a decision, it's not something that's driven by the internet or driven by some mama or whoever that told you about something. So generally, I think like cryptocurrencies, there's a lot of hype around it, and I find that people really go into them because of the hype. That okay, fine, if you do this, you're gonna get rich the next day, and you shouldn't do it because of that. Honestly, I mean, people do get like in cryptocurrencies and they invest, and then all of a sudden they have like 100,000 rand, right? It does happen. That's not a lie. It does actually happen, but it doesn't mean it's gonna happen to you. And those people that did that, they did some research, right? And yeah, they didn't just jump into something. So I would also recommend that if you're going to do something, then definitely do research on it. Things like cryptocurrencies and forex, those things are a bit more complex, like compared to shares, for instance. Like I feel like with shares, it sort of like gives you like some time to think. And I don't know how to put this, but there's sort of like some leeway with shares. For instance, I can invest into S&P 500 just by understanding that okay, fine, there's 500 companies that are top that are the top performing ones right there, that I'm sort of like convinced that okay, fine, this can perform well in the long term. You get what I'm saying? But now when coming to things that are very specific like cryptocurrencies and forex, and they are in very volatile markets, something that you can't actually see. You can't look if I'm going to the Ethereum company, I'm going to, but you can definitely say, okay, this is top right, this is lower, it's still there, which means the shares are still there. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I say there's a bit of leeway when coming to shares, right? Where you can invest and you can chill. You can actually chill, right? But then when it comes to cryptocurrencies, you need to be here. You can't just buy something and disappear. So I think that's my mistake that I made with cryptocurrencies, where I bought something and I was like, okay, fine. Then I only checked like in 2 weeks or whatever, not knowing that okay, fine, I need to like constantly check on this thing, because cryptocurrencies in a very volatile market mean that they are constantly moving like this, and they change within seconds, not even like days, like they change within seconds. That's how crazy the volatile markets are in cryptocurrencies. The sixth question from Precious: how does easy equities really work? I want to start, but I'm so clueless. I've had the app for so long. I understand, first and foremost, because when speaking anything to do with money, it is actually quite overwhelming, because you don't know, am I doing this? Is it right? Is it wrong? So I really do get it. It's good that you asked this question. It shows that you want to do something about it. You want to change something about that, right? So it's good that you're asking this question. So first and foremost, EasyEquities is a broker, right? For those that don't know, it's a broker that you can find shares. So you can find JSE shares, you can find US shares, you can find European shares, you can find Australian shares. You can also find cryptocurrencies, you can find bundles as well, you can find ETFs. You can also find ETF. There's a lot of options on EasyEquities. But I feel like when someone asks a question that how does something work, obviously they've seen what EasyEquities has, and they want to know, if I combine this and this, how is it gonna give me two?
Given that I don't have videos on Easy Equity specifically, I can recommend you to a creator who has done a couple of videos on it, which explain how to navigate the platform very well. And her handle is Nokuhle Kumalo. So yeah, give it a go.
And the next question from Ngaibo Skwasana. Ngaibo says that during the war that's currently happening, the market might be affected. So what could, or which stocks or crypto should we invest or buy? Firstly, I cannot actually tell you what to invest in. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do want specific advice here to your personal needs, then please do see a financial advisor. What I've always said is that look at the war that's happening, because there's a lot of things happening, there's a lot of factors, right? See what markets does the war affect, right? And if it's going to affect global markets, it means that it's also going to somehow also affect the JSE markets as well. And also depending on where you are comfortable investing in. For instance, if you're a person that is investing offshore, then the war is pretty much a concern to you. Because, for instance, if you are investing to the US, then which means that the US market is very volatile at the moment, or there's a lot of fluctuations, meaning that the stocks right now right there, they might be quite low and stuff like that. And also you need to go back to like the reasons as to like why is this war happening, and just doing more research on it. If you're a person that's investing in the global markets like the US, for instance, this should be your concern, right? You should now be actually seeing, okay, fine, this war that's happening, how is it then going to affect the decisions that are made by politicians, for instance? Like, what is Trump then going to enforce into the markets, or what is the central bank that's not going to enforce? And then when those things change, then which means that the global markets are bound to change as well. Like, for instance, they might say, okay, fine, because now this is happening, interest rates are going to go higher, interest rates are going to go lower, and in that way, then you know that share prices are bound to react to that. Another way, you can also use AI. Well, I actually use, this is a plug, guys. So if then you want something that's going to like give you some sort of like insight onto like what stocks or whatever that you can buy in this time because of this war, because there's a lot of factors into this. It's not something I can cover right now. I'll probably need like a whole video for me to explain this whole thing, right? So go to ChatGPT. I'm gonna show you right there, and then you type in this exact question where you are asking AI, how do I, like, what stocks or cryptos do I look into, and how does it affect the markets and stuff like that? And then yeah, you'll find some clarification. I hope that helps. And the eighth question is, how do you invest in your tax-free account? I think there were two questions linked to each other, so I'm just going to combine them. From Lele, how do you invest in your tax-free account? I've heard people say save. I've heard people say don't save, but invest your tax-free funds. Yes. So generally, tax-free savings account. I think maybe the word does confuse people because it's tax-free savings account. So you're thinking, okay, but it's savings account, but then I'm investing, right? Generally, tax-free savings account, it's you investing. It's not you saving. Saving, it's putting your money in the bank and getting it exactly the way it is. So when you're doing a tax-free savings account, your money is going to grow in compound interest. So this is what makes it then an investment instrument and not a saving instrument. As I've mentioned before, please do watch the previous video that I did on tax-free savings account, where I was saying that generally with the tax-free savings account, the conditions are that a year time contribution is supposed to be 36,000 rand, and lifetime contributions, it is supposed to be 500,000 rand, mean that you're going to contribute for like 13 years and 11 months. Then after that, you stop contributing, and then you let the money grow by itself with compound interest. So that's just like a sneak peek on how TFSA works, but do not confuse it. Just because there's a savings in the term of this instrument, it does not make it a savings account. It's actually you investing. You're not saving, you are investing, right? Whatever that has to do with interest rates that are growing with compound interest, it is you investing and it's not you saving. I think generally when they called it tax-free savings account, they were just trying to communicate that, okay, find something that you can do to save towards something or to get towards a certain goal, but it does not necessarily mean that you are saving something and you get it exactly as it is. So that's what it basically means. The 10th question is it possible to set up an offshore entity to hold assets to effectively reduce taxes? Yes, South Africans can set up offshore entities to hold assets, but it must be done legally with full SARS disclosure. It can offer tax efficiency and asset protection, but comes with strict exchange control and reporting rules. Please do speak to a tax specialist before proceeding, and that way then they'll be able to best guide you as to what steps you need to take. The last question then for this video, because I'm looking at the time and I'm already so stressed. Any actual and realistic investing tips for students besides saving? Firstly, start thinking about investing, right? I want to make this personal because I believe that the best way to relay something forward is show how you've applied as well in your own life. I started investing when I was a student and I was my second year, and I only had 300 rand to my name. And I remember that time was just lockdown, and this is all that I had left from my allowance, and I invested. It was March. By the time we were going home, I knew from then I'm not gonna get any allowance anymore because I was getting allowance from my parents. So I wasn't gonna get that anymore. 300 rand, that's why I started investing in and invested into Sasso. But besides the point, what I'm trying to say is that me investing then, I don't regret it. Yes, fine, maybe I did not make millions when I was in varsity, but then I learned the necessary skills that have made me a good investor that I am now and today, right? So instead of me saying that, okay, fine, I'm not gonna start investing now because I'm still a student, I'll start investing when I start working. I now when I'm working, or now when I'm able to invest more, like with more money, I'm doing it out of a more educated space, right? Where, okay, fine, I start investing then with the little money that I had, and that gave me time to actually learn and unlearn the certain mistakes that I was making at the time, and now I'm able to do it with more discernment, with better discernment as well. So generally, start investing now. Start investing now. It's very important. And by investing, I'm not saying that you're here, you're starving yourself. Now you're using your entire allowance to invest, and now you're not eating anymore and you start failing. No, that defeats the purpose of wealth. Wealth includes everything. So even if it's just 100 rand per month that you're committing yourself to start investing, start there. Start right there, right? Because for instance, with myself, after that I started having like a job on campus where like I was tutoring, so that way then the money that I was getting from tutoring not only just depending on the allowance, I was using that to start investing. And I remember the first year of investing, I was like, I made 10,000 rand from investing, and I was so happy, right? That was like a complete achievement to me. So generally do consider do something like that for yourself, because you will really learn a lot, and it will be the best gift that you ever give yourself, like actually building your investment knowledge from now, so that when you are working, you're not making mistakes with a 20,000 rand check. I'd rather make mistakes with 100 rand than make mistakes with 20,000 rand. If you get what I mean. So start learning now so that you can see how everything works, and you can get a feel of what makes these investments move, what makes the prices move, when should I buy, when should I sell, when should I hold, and all those basics that you have to learn in investing. That's basically my tip. The fact that start investing and find a broker that is going to be beginner friendly, especially as a person that does not very familiar with financial terms. Then do find a broker that is going to be extremely beginner friendly. And as I said, it's Brockstock for me. And yeah, but whichever one that you're comfortable with. I'm going to stop this video right here because yeah, it's a bit too long. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this is stressing me out so much. But yeah, I hope I was able to answer your questions well. And in the next video, I will then continue with the other questions. So as I said, if you didn't find your answer to your question in this video, you will definitely find it in the next video. So thank you so much for tuning in. And for the environment, guys, it's just for these two videos that I'm gonna do right now, because I'm currently like moving all over. I'm here because of my speaking gigs and stuff like that. So generally, like, my setting and my background might be a bit inconsistent for the next videos, as my life is not quite stable. As like I'm not based in one place. I'm constantly moving around. So just a disclaimer, since you're wondering, Ipo, this girl was here, now she's here, now she's there. Just to give more, explanation. But anywho, if you do want me to speak though at one of the events that we know of, maybe it's a school, maybe it is at your workspace or whatever, not to talk on financial literacy, investing, whatsoever, or it is talking about education, because I also do vouch for education. I do speak on that as well, and just motivating students and stuff like that. Do let me know. Send me an email at themoneyspace101@gmail.com, and let us talk further. Bye. See you in the next video. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive notifications from us when we do release a new video. Bye. See you on the other side of wealth.